Trump, Israel, and the Battle for Global Leadership, a geopolitical essay. In the shifting landscape of 21st-century geopolitics, the next American president will not simply inherit a chaotic world. He will inherit a world that increasingly questions whether the United States is still capable of independent leadership. For Donald Trump, the challenge is sharper than for most. If he intends to rebrand himself as a true global statesman rather than another U.S. president compromised by foreign influence, he must break free from the one-sided political and strategic entanglement with Israel that has long shaped Washington's Middle Eastern posture. The illusion of unbreakable loyalty. During Trump's first term, his close alignment with Israel was framed as loyalty to the United States' closest ally in the Middle East. In reality, this alignment often resembled political dependency rather than strategic partnership. Moves like recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital and supporting the annexationist wing of Israeli politics position the U.S. as a sponsor of an agenda that serves Israel far more than it serves American interests. The world is increasingly aware of Israel's long-term ambitions, particularly the expansionist ideology associated with the Greater Israel Project. Whether one interprets it as a literal geopolitical plan or a broad strategic doctrine, the perception alone is enough to erode the credibility of any American president who appears to act as its facilitator. For Trump, continuing this one-sided loyalty risks cementing the impression that he is not pursuing America's interests, but Israel's. And in the multipolar reality now taking shape, this could be catastrophic for Washington's global image. America must not appear owned. No superpower can afford the appearance of being owned, or even heavily influenced, by a foreign agenda. The U.S. already suffers from declining global trust due to decades of interventions, alliances, and contradictions that seem designed to maintain influence rather than promote stability. If Trump wants to be more than a domestic political phenomenon, if he aims to be a genuine global leader, he must reorient America's strategic posture toward balance rather than favoritism. The world's emerging powers, from India to Brazil, from Turkey to Saudi Arabia, are not willing to play second fiddle to an American foreign policy shaped by domestic lobbyists or ideological groups. In this context, Trump's future credibility depends on demonstrating that he represents the United States, and only the United States. Saudi Arabia, the arena of the future. The meeting between Trump and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, offered a glimpse of what a recalibrated American foreign policy might look like. MBS is not the stereotypical Arab leader of the past decade. He is modern, ambitious, ruthlessly pragmatic, and strategically forward-looking. He represents a new model of Middle Eastern leadership, one rooted in economics, technology, and youth-driven transformation. Under Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is attempting nothing less than a civilizational redesign. The kingdom is building futuristic cities, restructuring its economy, and positioning itself as a global technology hub, a kind of Silicon Desert. For Trump, aligning with a forward-looking Saudi Arabia offers a far more strategic opportunity than tying his political fate to Israel's aging narratives and continuous regional conflicts. Moreover, MBS and Trump share an affinity for transactional diplomacy, the art of the deal style where national ambitions align through clear mutual benefits rather than ideological commitments. A shifting Middle East, new alliances, new realities. If Trump embraces this new dynamic, the Middle East could witness a profound geopolitical shift. AU.S. Saudi, Turkey, UAE axis of modernization, reducing the region's reliance on old alliances. A diminished role for Israel in setting U.S. policy, particularly if its actions continue to isolate it on the global stage. Increased competition between Gulf states and Israel for technological and financial leadership, especially as Saudi Arabia seeks to transform itself into a global innovation center. A more balanced American policy, more focused on multipolar cooperation than on ideological loyalty. Such a shift would not only restore America's global credibility, it would also position Trump as a statesman with a strategic vision rather than a politician bound by domestic political debts. Future projections, 3 possible scenarios. 1. Trump reinvents U.S. foreign policy, most transformative. He distances himself from one-sided Israeli influence, re-engages with Saudi Arabia's modernization agenda, balances U.S. relations across the Middle East, and rebuilds credibility among emerging powers. Outcome: America reasserts a multipolar leadership role. 2. Trump maintains one-sided loyalty, most damaging. He remains tied to the Israeli lobby and supports Israeli regional ambitions. Outcome: the U.S. loses influence, the Middle East continues fragmenting, and rivals like China fill the vacuum. 3. Trump tries to balance both, most likely. He keeps rhetorical support for Israel but quietly shifts strategy towards Saudi Arabia and broader partnerships. Outcome: a slow recalibration that stabilizes U.S. influence without dramatic rupture. Conclusion: a crossroads for Trump and for America. To lead the world, Trump must first prove that he cannot be owned. Breaking the pattern of one-sided loyalty to Israel is not an act of hostility, it is an act of sovereignty. The rise of leaders like MBS shows that the future of global alliances lies in innovation, modernization, and strategic independence, not in outdated political debts. If Trump recognizes this, he has a chance to become more than a domestic figure. He could become the first U.S. president of the 21st century to truly navigate the new multipolar world, with America's interests, not Israel's or anyone else's, at the center.